Okay, Jemilah and I are still here. We're going to talk about films with Oxford. We got Last Night in Soho. I loved it just for the soundtrack, but you're going to tell me why should we love it or not? Tell us a little bit, give some background on the movie first there, Oxford.
Okay, well, so Last Night in Soho, it's a new psychological kind of horror film. It's by Edgar Wright. You probably, so he's in a lot of films in the past that are in that very stylish. He did Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead,
Hot Fuzz.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Well, yeah, Hot Fuzz. All of those. So all of those films. But so it's a brilliant. It's got his flavor, which I really liked, but it's something unique, and it was really interesting. Just very quickly, we mentioned last week talking about Don't Look Now. And there's a big feel of those early 60s, 70s kind of vibes in it. But so it's a lovely, tense, psychological, beautiful, gorgeous film that is set in the 1960s.
Yep, and stars a Kiwi.
Yeah, it stars our own Tomasin. And so it's in the 1960s about a young woman who goes to London to study fashion design, and things get spooky and unraveled. But there's much more to it than that, and it's a beautiful film. All right, well,
let's watch the trailer, and then we'll come back and decide whether we like it or not. Okay?
Okay.
Everyone's waiting for you. Everyone's waiting for you. Do you believe in ghosts?
All right, so that was the trailer. We're talking about Last Night in Soho. Let's skip over to Jemilah and see what she thought of it. Did it blow your little mind?
I thought it was cool. It was a bit like the trailer makes it sound a lot more like sort of Hollywood than the actual film is, and I think that's like I liked the way that the film was shot. Like I liked the 60s music, and I liked the style, and I liked the actress, like the acting, and it was really well, like. There's characters I've seen before, but also actors I haven't seen before. And so that was like kind of a good mix. And I thought that the storyline was cool. It was definitely like something I hadn't really heard, like seen before done in the same way, which is kind of cool. And I definitely like the psychological aspect of it more than the horror aspect of it. So I enjoyed like what she was going through, but the further it went on, the more kind of like away from reality it became, and I sort of became a little bit dissociated from the storyline because it became a bit like harder to believe.
Yeah, it got a little stabby there near the end as well.
Yeah,
it was kind of high, but right at the beginning, I swear, you mentioned the soundtrack. The music it's all this 60s Brit pop, World Without Love, and You're My World by Cilla Black, and Petula Clark's Downtown. I was in heaven at that point.
They had some Happy House as well in there.
Oh yeah, so that was, I love that because that's what I love about his directing. He's not afraid. Another director would just say, "Oh no, we can't use Susie and the Banshees because it's not part of the vibe that we're laying down." But for that scene, that he uses Susie and the Banshee and Happy, and it's perfect. I was sold at that point. Yeah, but I do think that the film lost a little something along the way, but it kept me interested throughout. I was happy I saw it. So give us the official review.
For me, you're the words. Oh no, the pressure. Well, so I actually so from what we've both just said, it's really interesting because I'm in split in the middle of that. So I agree that it did start to lose its way, but I enjoyed the not subversion of expectations, but how it was something different. It's one of the things I love about his films is that they're uniquely like isolated as that sole thing. It's not a copy of something else. It's not a try at something. It's a unique little snapshot, like a dream that he's had. And I find he does that really, really well in cinema. And I absolutely would love to see this again a handful of times actually, because it does have that beautiful fever dream and that black swan kind of crazy, you don't really know what you're seeing. And it's the unreliable narrator is always a beautiful.
Yeah, she's definitely unreliable.
She was, exceptional. But
and we should mention Diana Rigg, her last performance before she passed away.
It was there were two actresses actually. The barmaid,
right,
the lady who was the sage barmaid.
Yep,
as well, and Diana.
Yeah, which of course she was like pretty much the template for the character that
it was amazing. So the last thing I'll say is, so for me, one of my favorite films is Midnight in Paris, which is much different, but somewhat similar. And I think it's that beautiful thing of, you watch the first part of that film, the start of this film, Last Night in Soho, and you dive into this world, and you get seduced by the glamour and the beauty and the nostalgia of it all. And beneath that is that hallway scene in particular, the post dance. There's a real grittiness to it where, the fairy tale starts to break down, and at the end of it, there's a big witch ready to.
Yes, there is. And I got to say, usually we talk about the editing, and it's like, well, you're struggling and talk about something good, but the editing is amazing in this film. The cutting, and I mean, production wise, so it's funny you mentioned music, because music production, editing, just all of the actual film making qualities itself are flawless. I find, well, it's almost flawless, pretty much. They're just simple things like the light, the bright neon flashing light on that thing transitioning between those dreamlike states. Everything feels meticulously planned but not overdone. And there were a few points where it started to drift that way towards the end, which I'll agree on, because it's a almost 2-hour film, and it's a one to kind of take you through. But yeah, I loved it. Excellent. I'm keen again. Last Night in Soho. Boom. Do it.